Hey y'all, in this video we're going to be talking about blackberries, some of the pros, which are limited, and a lot of the cons, and how we manage blackberries here at Blossom Barn Farm. Keep them from spreading and keep them in control. So it's mid-June and I'm looking at some of these blackberries that we've got, and they're in full flower and they've just put out these really long runners that reach down and touch the ground and root, and also make it difficult to reach in here and pick. They will result in spreading, which is exactly what we don't want. So this time of year in mid-June, I do several things for blackberries. Number one, I clip all of these way back so that it's easier to pick later in the summer, that we're not getting spread by these reaching down. And I just clip these off with a pair of pruning shears and throw them in the back of the truck. And other places along fence lines where I'm not necessarily picking blackberries, I'll just line trim them in pieces and let them drop on the ground. In addition to cutting back these, I also look for any sign of blackberries growing where I don't want them. So on the edges of these patches along fence lines, I cut those to the ground and just try and rob those blackberries of photosynthesis so that they're not getting stronger and bigger, so that in the late summer, early fall, when we spray once a year, those blackberries are very susceptible to being knocked out.
There are some positive things about having blackberries on the farm. So these cottonwoods are getting tall in the blackberries because they're protected from deer. Whereas out in the open, the deer browse the young cottonwoods to the ground and they never will mature and become trees. Blackberries are also extremely popular and important for bees, both bumblebees, the native bumblebees, and our honeybees. So we produced well over 500 pounds of honey from our hives this year that are maintained by Noah's bees, our buddies. Without the blackberries, we wouldn't have that really high quality nectar source that allow those bees to produce a tremendous amount of honey. There's also, of course, the blackberries themselves. So blackberries are pretty easy to pick. You can pick a lot relatively quickly. It's a fun activity. They're easy to process. And so the juice from those blackberries go into one of our most popular summer ciders. But there's a lot of negatives. Blackberries are easily spread by birds because the seeds survive the digestive system. So along fence lines, under trees, along creeks, that all creates these large patches of blackberries that are extremely susceptible to fire. So the Alameda fire in 2020 in Southern Oregon burned along the Bear Creek corridor, which was chock full of blackberries. One of the main reasons why that fire was able to spread was that there was a continuous fire source along Ashland, Talent, Phoenix, and into South Medford. And without those blackberries, that fire may not have spread as badly.
When it comes to vegetation, they really want to keep the growth of blackberries at bay. Blackberries are considered one-hour fuels in Oregon and contain oils that could cause fires to be explosive. Lambert says the team wants to stop blackberry bushes from growing back and manage the bushes that are still there.
So again, a recap on what we do to control blackberries. We do a lot of mechanical treatments, removing the runners in both the early and late summer, and we mow with the line trimmers and with the tractor. And this is one of the most important things to do. If you're going to do one thing, these mechanical treatments are the most important. Grass can really outcompete blackberries. And so if you are in a spot where grass thrives, doing those mechanical treatments are really important. Removing the long runners also robs them of these tips that will touch down and root and create a new plant. And this is what really causes them to rapidly spread. They can spread many, many feet per year, and removing those runners is really important. And afterwards, I spray and I use triclover. And a lot of people will use products like Crossbow that have 2,4-D in them as well. 2,4-D is really pretty nasty in my opinion. Not that triclover is not, but it's a lot less nasty and it's really effective at knocking out blackberries, whereas 2,4-D is not anywhere near as effective. It's often marketed as a brush killer, and you want to mix it to the highest level of concentration recommended. And if you spray just once a year, you can really do a good job of knocking them out. And here you can see a couple weeks later, after spraying on a dog walk, we're seeing a lot of yellowing and dying back of the blackberries.